Hello, everyone. Welcome to this sacred service. Remember that these sacred services are dedicated to offering you some space for yourself to sit in a sacred spaciousness that is just yours and to offer yourself that each week in whatever way. This is one way to do it. One thing in life to contemplate and to sink into an experience of through a guided meditation. There are so many ways to offer yourself this sacred space. And so I hope you enjoy this. And if this isn't the thing this week, go find your sacred space and sit in that quality of just being you and feeling what it is to be you and to really appreciate all of the sacred qualities that are you, that is your life. The more that we focus on that, the more that that comes to life. And that truly is what the world so desperately needs right now. So today I'm dedicating this sacred service to walking the spiral instead of the circle. To walk the circle is to move through the same thing over and over again without feeling like it is changing. Sometimes it does change. It inevitably changes because each time through, there has to be something that changes because each moment in time that we move forward is new. But the shifts can be imperceptible, where it can feel like we are moving in a circle rather than making any changes. And maybe the changes begin, but then the changes don't stick. And so we wind up right where we started. And instead, we can address the things that are limiting the momentum that we're able to pick up, the growth, the evolution that we desire when we tap into the unseen forces that are limiting us. And this truly is why I got into the work that I do beyond nutrition. I started in nutrition, and as many of you know, I was frustrated by this. I was frustrated that so many clients that I had would were so convicted to shift their relationship with food, their relationship with their body. But regardless of what we put in place, something wasn't sticking. Something they would get going with the tangible plan we made, the movement, the food strategies, and it might work for a little while, but then, as many of you know, with so many of things like that, then it stops. It's not sustainable. There isn't longevity with it. And it's because there's actually an energetic force that is creating a limitation that we can't see directly, that we can't know outright, because usually it is so deeply woven into our being in the form of a habit, in the form of a pattern, in the form of a limiting belief, that until we access that and liberate ourselves from that unseen force, these things won't stick. And the really fascinating part that I've come to know in working with so many people at this point around things like this, around wanting to create shifts in life, and it has moved definitely beyond just being about food and body relationship at this point, any shift we want to create. The fascinating thing that I've learned is that when we free ourselves, when we liberate ourselves from that unseen force, oftentimes these shifts occur on their own. People contact me and say, I don't know how it happened, but I just realized that I've been doing this thing for the last month and I didn't even have to make a plan for it. It just began to happen because what we know we need, what our body knows it wants, those things become easy to do. They begin to naturally flow when the holdings that are generally from things that came into being when we were very young, or even that were maybe passed down to us, often were passed down to us through our ancestry, through patterns in our lineage. That when we free ourselves from that, the things that our energy can flow in the way that we truly desire for it to flow. And it becomes much more simple. One of the things that that we often feel when we are about to step into expansion, real expansion, when we're about to step into the spiral and level up into what we truly desire, is a sense of fear. And that fear can either be construed as fear, it's what it feels like, and it might actually be hearkening on one of those things that those unseen forces that is igniting even a real feeling of like survival at a root level in our root chakra. Will I survive if I do this? It may be informed by a time when you wouldn't have survived, when somebody in your family, or when you didn't survive. And so by addressing that, we can liberate ourselves from that. But that fear, we can also begin to reframe it as potentially excitement. They feel very similar. If we take the story out of it, fear can feel a lot like excitement, and excitement can feel a lot like fear. And so when we work with just the physical sensation, and we offer that physical sensation a reframe in terms of the story that's being cultivated, the emotion that is being cultivated from the sensation, we can begin to shift the way our mind is perceiving it. Because certainly excitement likely feels better than fear. But if we can't do that, then we work with the fear. What's sitting there in the fear? And how do we begin to unravel ourselves from it so that it can be transformed into seeing it as excitement? So a couple reflective questions that are really helpful when sitting in this. Where in my life am I being nudged towards something greater, but fear is keeping me on the edge? And you can think of it almost like a door that you know you want to walk through, that you know the thing you desire is on the other side of it. And you're standing in front of it. Maybe you're getting close to it. What's preventing you from putting your hand on the knob and opening it? What's preventing you from knocking on the door? From taking that next step that will actually guide you through it rather than just seeing it. And that's where the discomfort happens. My favorite quote, I've put it here before, Lionel Richie: life begins at the edge of your comfort zone. The edge of the comfort zone is standing on that precipice. It's standing in that doorway. And taking that step into the unknown requires leaning into the fear / excitement. It requires leaning into trust, that you can trust that the action you take is going to work out. And that's why unraveling ourselves from the fear that I might die, the fear that I might get hurt, the fear that this could really mess things up for me, to unravel ourselves from that so that that becomes possible. Okay, second reflective question. How can I shift my perspective from fear of the unknown to excitement for what's possible? Is my mind telling me all the things that might happen that pose a risk for me? Or am I leaning into all the things that could happen that would be wonderful for me? Which trajectory am I setting myself up for with the mindset that I am keeping in place? And finally, what happens when I choose trust over hesitation? When I step forward and trust that all will be well, trust that I will be taken care of, trust that I have support that is beyond what I could even imagine, over hesitation. I take the leap. I take the jump. I'm possible. The impossible becomes I'm possible. Okay, so let's do a little guided meditation, stepping into the spiral of expansion. So go ahead and close your eyes, get comfortable, and just begin to take deep breaths. Really connect with the earth beneath you. And just feel yourself entering the spaciousness of your body as you release the holdings of the mind and let yourself shift into the greater awareness of the more full aspect of your being. And just visualize standing at the threshold of something new. That edge, whatever edge it is for you, something that you've been called to transform, a shift you've desired, a step that you've been interested in taking. Stand there in that doorway, on that edge. What does it look like as you gaze into the future? How does it feel in your body to be standing on this edge, in this doorway? Just notice feelings that arise. And especially notice if there are any feelings that resemble fear or resistance. And observe your inclination with those feelings. Is there a desire to escape them? A want to push them away? Instead, invite yourself to breathe into this feeling. Let yourself melt into whatever resistance, whatever fear, open to it. Let yourself know that you're here to experience it, to understand it. Breathe into it and see it as a signal of expansion. And as you sit in that expansion, just begin to notice how that feeling shifts, how the sensation in your body changes. Like holding an ice cube. Does it begin to change shape? Does it begin to become more fluid? Can you feel possibility igniting? And perhaps now you see an awareness, you have an awareness unfolding in front of you, more of an inclination in that liberation, in that possibility to step forward. And maybe you see a glowing spiral, a staircase, an invitation to step into that possibility that will take you onto that next rung of the spiral, that will invite you into a sustainable shift that releases a tendril of fear and moves you forward onto this new path of possibility. See yourself taking a step forward. And maybe take a deep breath as you do that and feel what it's like to lean in to possibility, to believe in your ability, and to trust that all will be well as you step beyond your comfort zone. Seeing your comfort zone expand as that step just carries you forward. You feel the ground beneath you, and it becomes even more possible. That step into possibility, now standing on the ground outside of your old comfort zone, you are creating a new comfort zone, an expanded comfort zone that holds your new possibility. Just feel that validation. And stand there, repeating these affirmations after me. I trust the path unfolding before me. Fear and excitement are guiding me to growth. I say yes to my own expansion. And then in that place, just feel the fullness of your body. Just notice any shift in your physical sensation from the beginning. And as you're ready, beginning to move your fingers and your toes, feeling the light within you that is also guiding you forward. And as you're ready, go ahead and bring yourself back, taking any time you need to journal. And please share. Feel free to drop in the comments anything that came to you, epiphanies you had, observations, insights, how this landed for you. Share it here with us. Ask any questions. I would love to hear, and it is always so expansive and healing for all when anybody shares. Thank you so much for being here. And if this resonates, please share with anybody who might be interested, who you think might be interested. Thank you so much.